Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President and Executive Director of EmeraldPlanet and also the Director and host of the EmeraldPlanet TV. We're coming to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States on a weekly basis to bring you what we call the best of the best, or the 1,000 best practices concerning the environment and economic development around the globe. And there's a movement now as the globe goes to 9 billion souls as setting up what they're calling green communities or green cities. And so we're going to be talking about one of those in Lima, Peru.
Yes.
I have beside me Roger Huaman, who is the Peruvian International Business Consultant, Lima, Peru. And we're going to be talking about a place that's called Inca, Peru. And this is really an exciting opportunity. And Roger, welcome to the EmeraldPlanet.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for the invitation.
Glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about the economic and environmental development of Peru at this time.
Peru, the last 20 years was, it has been stable. The economy has been stable. And now the economical growth is about 6.5%. And the country, like all the countries in Latin America, they are growing up due to the prime resources. Peru is rich in prime resources, like also, let's mention minerals and agriculture. Now it's exporting more and more. So the economy is pretty good.
Well, the whole thing about Peru is that it's a very dynamic economy, very smart, dynamic people. It's now considered a middle-income country, yes. And that's very important. So why is there a push in Peru and other Latin American countries for these, what they're now calling these new green cities?
Well, it has to, because the green cities, what it brings to the people, to the majority of the people, is a better quality life. You know, we still have a lot of illiterate people who lives in the rural areas that they are not able to get the last technologies, the technologies that we have. And it is a must for all the governments in Latin America to emphasize in these self-sustained cities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and looking at it, you know, the notion is sustainability, reliability, and livability, and reducing the carbon footprint for the whole world. So when you look at Peru, how does the government get involved in this, as the national government and also the regional and local level?
Yeah, the national government, of course, emphasized now there is a new ministry of environmental
mm-hmm.
ministry
mm-hmm.
since the previous president, mm-hmm. Dr. Alan Garcia, who was the president before this president now. They created the Ministry of Environmental, and now they are emphasizing a lot, but of course still needs some more preparation, education in the in the small towns of Peru to understand this.
Well, looking around Peru, I mean, there's the cities like Lima are growing at a very rapid rate, people leaving out of the countryside, and it's just amazing, Roger, how that even in a country as rural as, say, Peru or the neighbors, is how many people are moving into the urban areas. And they're saying by 2050 that over 80% of the world's
Correct.
Populations will be living in urban areas. So when you look at the Ministry of the Environment, Ministry of Health, Education, and Economy, how are those four working together to make sure that these new green cities, these new green communities can evolve in ways that's going to be sustainable, and they can produce their own power, water, food, these types of basic needs that the people have?
Yes, they are working, but it's not sufficient. They need to work more. They need to work together. These ministries, they need to get together with one goal to create these self-sufficient cities. And you were mentioning that the people from rural areas they are all coming to the urban cities, and it's because they don't have anything. They don't have water. They don't have electricity. They don't have the basic needs for a human being. So now we are trying to help them, and our job is to help them, to make them understand to the officials of the government that they have to get together. If they need some more help, we can support them in any way possible.
Yeah. Well, looking at it, there's many technologies, what's called off the shelf. It's readily available. Many of these things are becoming inexpensive from what it was in years past, like renewable energy, water filtration, wastewater treatment even, which is really a big need in most countries like Peru and many other countries around the globe, and also food production and other kinds of infrastructure that's needed. So when you're looking at the infrastructure, what do the people specifically need, and how can the consulting work that you're doing and the representation you're making between the United States and Peru, how does this translate into improving the lives of these local citizens?
Of course, we need a more preparation, or more people who understands this concept in the government, because we can bring all the newest technology like renewable energy and waste to energy, which is we can convert from trash to electricity. And or we have an ocean there in the surroundings of Lima. There's plenty of water in the ocean. There is desalination, the method that could provide plenty of water for the poor. Now, if you go to see the surroundings of Lima, they don't have these basic needs, which water, shelter, and that reflects in the cost of health care for the government.
Right.
So they need to understand that they have to get together and with us, and we will support with the companies that they have the latest technology in the energy renewal. Let's say waste
renewable
to energy
or water filtration.
And whatever.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about some of those. How do you reach to these populations? I know that when you go back to Peru, you're having meetings all over the country.
Yes.
Meeting with these local community committees. They have their chair, and they have elected citizens from within the communities themselves. How do you communicate to them of what is available to them, and then what would be the process to actually make this available within these local communities?
Because I know the idiosincrasy of my country, because I was born in a small village in the Amazon, so they all suffer of communication with the officials, the authorities. So I go directly where the need is, to these communities and to the authority, who's the mayor, and try to get them together and to understand that we have plenty of support to these needs for the people, but we need them to understand more. I mean, we need the mayors of the cities to understand that they have to start one project and finish it, not to start and leave these projects in the middle. They need to finish these projects, and we are willing, especially with you, Dr. Sam, we are willing to help them to create a city, a sustainable city with water, and water is the principal thing there for the agriculture.
Yeah, well, and of course that's something, the very essence of life is water, so you definitely have to have all that. Looking at some of these areas as far as the land is concerned, I understand there are a number of these communities, actually they own their own land. A lot of these are agricultural areas. So how does that translate into investments, back into the community so they can build new and energy efficient housing, and they can have new and better schools, and having access to telecommunications, cell phone, the internet, and all that. So how do we help them do that? What's that process?
It's only a want to do, the desire to do it, because they have the land, and the land is collateral. It's a big collateral, especially in Peru with the economy, growing economy. The land is getting more and more price, especially in Lima and the surroundings of Lima. So that's collateral for any financing institution. So even the government, they can have these lands as collateral and ask for the Ministry of Economy to get a budget to provide us sustainable city for these people in order to get them a better quality life.
And so when you're working with these people, then you work with the leadership within the local communities, bring the citizens together, educate them about the technologies, the services, the products that are available either within Peru or coming in from outside the country.
Correct. Many times I did get them together in a big room and explain it to them that they don't have to suffer because of water or food or they have everything.
Healthcare or whatever.
Healthcare or whatever. They just need to get together, these people, because we come from a culture, the Incas. The Incas, they didn't suffer of water or food or whatever. It was a rich culture that they all worked together, and they had enough food for everybody, enough water.
Roger, we're running out of time. Where do you see your services going over the next 5, 10, and 15 years? You got to be quick.
Yeah, we have to. I'm gonna travel to Peru. We're gonna get together there with the people, especially in Ica, and start a big project of a sustainable city.
Thank you for being with us as we're looking around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.
There's more than just books at the library.
There's more than just books at the library.
Excuse me.
There's more than just books at the library.
Il y a plus que de livres à la bibliothèque.
Hello. You have a lot of great books here today. You know there's more than just books at the library.
I know.
There's more than just books at the library.
I don't want to be hooked to a machine.
I want all the medical treatment available to me.
I wouldn't want my family to have to make this decision.
My doctor knows what's best for me.
An advance directive is your life on your terms. Talk with your family. Decide what's right for you. Then put it in writing.
Documenting my wishes today means my family won't have to make heart-wrenching decisions later.
To learn more, visit www.putitinwriting.org.
1,200 American youth run away from their homes every day. The National Runaway Switchboard is here to help. 1-800-RUNAWAY. If you are a runaway, thinking about running away from home, or a parent or guardian concerned about issues facing your child, call us 24 hours a day. 1-800-RUNAWAY. In times of crisis, hope is just a phone call away. 1-800
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we're looking around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technologies, the services, and the products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as you know, we're going to be having a planet with some 9 billion souls by 2050. And so where are these people going to live? What kind of food, fuel, fiber, and basic infrastructure is going to be available in order to give them a high quality of living? And one of the discussions is about these new green communities, or new green cities that are being developed around the world, and so that they can be off-grid and self-sufficient. And we have a gentleman that's coming in by Skype. This is Nick Nicholas. He is the technical sales manager of the Genesis Water Technologies. And then sitting right beside me is Roger Huaman, who is a Peruvian international business consultant from Lima, Peru. And he's here to work with me as far as Nick. Nick, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And welcome to the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you, Sam.
Now, tell us a little bit about the Genesis Water Technologies. What is the company and what are you doing? And then we'll get into how you're working on these new green communities and new green cities.
Sure. Genesis Water Technologies designs, manufactures, and supplies integrated sustainable water treatment solutions. These solutions are focused on meeting our clients' water quality challenges through innovation and collaboration. So that's with both the private sector and municipalities, basically working with them, as well as experienced local civil engineers and contracting partners throughout the world that share our vision and values to provide a world without waterborne disease.
Yeah, and looking at the work that you're doing, and talk about the renewable aspects of that, because I know that you're working using solar and then also the biofuels as far as the alternative energy. Tell us something about that.
Essentially, that particular program is an innovative program that we're both using solar voltaic technology as well as a renewable biogas technology to power our modular water and wastewater treatment solutions. So in that capacity, we're able to reduce the carbon footprint dramatically, as well as provide the clean water and the sanitation services that those particular clients and communities need.
Now, why would you be using, I know we talked about, and I thought was very clever about on the biomass in some of these communities like Native Americans and also in communities that have corn, using the corn cobs to generate electricity of different kinds. So why use that kind of fuel, and then also about using solar as well?
We think that utilizing those two technologies essentially provides the best capability of a power generation. So with solar, you only have about 6 to 8 hours of power production throughout the day. But with the biogas or syngas, you're able to provide a power source that is 24 hours sustainable. So you're using both the solar voltaic power during the day, as well as providing that 24-hour supply through the synthetic biogas.
Now, looking at what are some of the major challenges as far as using the renewable or alternative energy sources in the water production and also in wastewater?
Well, some of the challenges you can have is there are challenges dealing with, well, how are those particular technologies implemented? How can they be best utilized as a power source for a water treatment facility or for a wastewater treatment facility? And we've found that the best way to optimize those particular alternative fuels or alternative technologies to power our water wastewater systems is to use a hybrid approach. And that hybrid approach essentially provides that 24-hour continuous power supply that is needed to run those systems.
Oh, that's fantastic, because that's one of the constant questions that comes up about renewables. How can you have it 24/7, 365? And so what you're doing is with these other types of biomass energy production facilities and technologies, you're able to do that. As you know, Roger Huaman is sitting right beside me, and he's the one that's working with Peru and other countries in Latin America. So he's going to ask the next question. Roger?
Sure, Nick. Thank you for staying with us. And my question is, Nick, people generally understand that drinking water is a limited resource, but from your perspective, what are some steps that should be taken to encourage sustainability?
Yes. Well, there's actually several factors that will need to be encouraged to encourage sustainability. One, I believe you mentioned earlier, was education, and that's education of the actual citizens to what the different approaches are with dealing with water, how to look at these particular resources as something that can be potentially contaminated, etc. Another aspect of making them sustainable is to get the government involved, and the government involved provides a tremendous incentive of allowing these sustainable efforts to be implemented to these communities across the country, across the world.
I know that based on interactions I've had with some of the colleagues that you're working with around the United States and overseas, that you really have been involved in this green technologies development. And so tell us a little bit about some of that projects that you have, and maybe where some of those are actually located.
Okay, the Green Communities Program concept we developed is actually very interesting, and it involves not only aspects of water and wastewater treatment, but encompasses both the housing, encompasses the agricultural efforts of the community, involves a renewable energy grid. So it's basically an all-encompassing approach to sustainability for the entire community. So you would have, as I mentioned, you would have a solar voltaic or the solar panels with your biogas be a power source to power a renewable energy grid, and that renewable energy grid would power both your water treatment systems, your wastewater treatment systems, as well as provide power for the community. So it would be lights for the dwellings. It would be power for any necessity for business efforts, commerce, and the other very good effort as well is the ability to handle the municipal solid waste. And municipal solid waste is not a question that may come up, but that's a question that we use that municipal solid waste to actually power the biogas process, and it makes a renewable 360 cycle of sustainability for that community.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. And of course, as you know, if you can bring municipal solid waste management to the communities, yes, is incredible, because across the world, almost 3.5 billion people, one half of the world's population, does not have access to adequate wastewater treatment, and that's a huge need. So if you can actually treat that and then use it as, in a sense, a renewable resource to power these systems, that's absolutely incredible. So how can you work with the governments as well as the citizens and the local organizations in order to bring this in? What would be your process for making the technologies available in these local communities?
Essentially, what it starts out as a feasibility study, and that with working with consultants, working with the local governments or national governments to pick specific communities of 8,000 people plus to look at the various needs of what they're requiring, what their housing requirements are, or what their water treatment requirements are, what the solid waste generated typically in communities of that scale. Going through that feasibility study is very important initially, but then it goes into essentially the design phase, which we work with the local engineering and contracting firms to essentially implement that solution with the financing, either through Ex-Im Bank or through participation with funding from the national or local governments, and it has worked out really well, and continues to generate a lot of interest in countries throughout the world.
Well, we're actually running out of time. I wanted Roger to ask the last question, but we're going to be losing you in just about 33 seconds. So tell us, what do you see for the growth and expansion of Genesis Water Technologies over the next 5, 10, 15 years, Nick?
We see it to be very promising. This both the sustainability and these green communities are proving to be a great growth for our company, and has generated a lot of interest in whether it be private sector or governments throughout the world. And we're very excited in seeing the growth of our company through these particular areas, because water is life.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's really the very essence of it. And it's just amazing that you've been able to do this with all the renewable energy technologies, both as far as the biomass and the solar. So that's a good combination that you're putting together there, Nick, at the Genesis Water Technologies. Well, this is Nick Nicholas. He is the Technical Sales Manager for Genesis Water Technologies. They're out of Florida in the United States. Sitting right beside me is Roger Huaman, who is the Peruvian International Business Consultant out of Lima, Peru. And thank you for being with us as we look around the globe.
I helped turn my child's public school into a whole new kind of school. One with a curriculum that really motivates kids. One that has extended hours, 6 days a week, year-round. With loads of academic, cultural, and recreational activities. One that has support services like medical and dental right there. A school where parents' involvement is encouraged. Where teachers have more time to teach. And students are excited about learning. There's just one problem. My child doesn't ever want to come home. You can help turn your school into a community school for excellence. Find out how. Call 1-877-LOVE-TO-LEARN.
It's coming. Right to your neighborhood. And when it does, you may be surprised. It's your Social Security statement of your benefits, and it's going to help you plan your financial future. Your benefit statement will tell you how much Social Security you're eligible to receive and when you'll get it. Then you'll know how much you need to save for retirement, because that's coming too. The future is in your hands. Choose to save.
The toxic fumes from this meth lab are seeping into Jamie's sinus cavity. Ammonia vapors invade her throat. Toxic gases fill her lungs. Jamie's body is deteriorating. And she doesn't even know it.
Jamie, dinner.
So, who has a drug problem now? Find out how meth affects you at drugfree.org/.
back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr.
Hello, and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products as we move through the 21st century. And as we go towards 2050 and we add 2 billion new people to the planet, how are we going to be able to take care of them as far as the basic infrastructure, but in a way that's at the same time is going to protect the environment. And so it's the balance between the environment and the economy that really is going to move us forward so that when we have 9 billion souls in this planet, that actually they have increased quality of life. And I have a gentleman sitting right beside me, has been working on this for a number of years, and also has many technologies. This is John S. Quackenboss. He is the president of L&Q International. And also what led me to John was he has these advanced soil solutions, which is really incredible, John. And thank you for being back on the Emerald Planet TV.
It's great to be here, Sam. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about L&Q International. What is it, and where is it headquartered, and what are some of the things that you're doing? And then we'll get into the specific technologies.
Well, we're a company that has been around for about 8 years, and we've been dealing in soil additives, soil stabilization technologies that harden and waterproof soils for the development of infrastructure. Our headquarters are in Alexandria, Virginia, and we have a training facility in Clarkdale, Arkansas, just 30 minutes outside of Memphis, Tennessee.
I tell you, that's, and I've seen the photographs of that. That's really a nice facility. What are some of the approaches that you're taking as different than others as far as basic infrastructure, buildings, and then and specifically roads?
Well, what we are doing is making soil the basic underlying material for building infrastructure. And we do this with the additives, of course, and we do it in context with different projects for infrastructure, such as building roads or perhaps canals for irrigation, for farm irrigation, cisterns for holding water, cool food storage in root cellars, and also preparing ground for different types of applications such as medical, for trailers, and also for communications.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, there's many different technologies that you have, and I know that you're doing this so it's actually being powered through renewable energy as far as solar and then other types of energy sources. So what is some of the essence of the flexibility, sustainability, resiliency that you're wrapping into all the various projects that you're putting together within the United States and also abroad?
Yeah, well, we have to have all three of those working for us. And our solutions are really geared towards remote areas in the outback, sometimes austere. So yes, we do have to have renewable energies such as wind and solar to be able to power them. We are working in a manner that allows us to take these technologies and the additives and compile them and put them in a mobile trailer that will act as a business for local people. So in other words, if we are mobile, we are quite flexible in setting up any number of different technologies. And at the same time, we're sustainable because we're in large part employing the locals and teaching them. So you've got technology transfer going on where the locals learn to go on and build and maintain their own infrastructure. And we're doing it with very little carbon footprint.
Looking at these slides we have right here, John, I think it's just absolutely incredible what you're doing is where you're really just taking the soil right where the people stand or the place where they're going to be building their homes or the commercial projects, and then they're actually making their own bricks to be used, and this is compacted soils. So this is really a phenomenal way of doing that. How does this actually work?
Well, what you're looking at right now is a compressed soil block machine, and this is, we believe it's the finest of them in the world. This particular machine, done by Leading Edge, puts out 240 blocks an hour. There's a larger one that puts out 480 blocks an hour, and they are solid earth. They do need about 20% clay, but that you can usually find in proximity to your project. And you can knock these blocks out, and they make tremendous building blocks that have great insulation qualities to them, as well as being bulletproof, fireproof, so they can work in austere situations where there may not even be a lot of, maybe relatively lawless. What you're looking at right here is, of course, the machine, and then to its side, you're looking at a soil mixer. And that soil mixer is able to take the clays, mix it in so that you get the right proportion of clay, and then you can add in polymers and other chemicals, whatever, if you want to waterproof and stabilize the block.
Yeah, and this is really a great shot of these blocks coming out, and these are very substantial. It's just amazing the density of these, and actually these are ready to go right into the building immediately, correct?
That's correct. Now this machine that you're looking at in this slide produces 480 block per hour, and that is a 10-inch by 14-inch by 4-inch thick block that weighs 40 pounds. And imagine 480 of those coming off the line per hour. It takes a crew of 20 to 30 men to be able to handle it.
I tell you, that's amazing. This gives you an idea of coming in, and actually I think this may be going into a school, but you can use these block for just about anything, correct?
Well, in fact, with these additives that we're talking about, where you literally turn them into a waterproof hardened block that does not dissolve, you can use these block then for cisterns holding water, as well as for the cool food storage that I mentioned earlier, building community buildings such as schools and
health clinics, or
health clinics, whatever, as well as your homes.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. Now, this is why I was getting back in contact with you recently. This is about this additive where you just take soil and turn it into a road bed that's better than asphalt and concrete, and will even survive the hurricanes and the spring rains that are coming through these many different countries. Tell us how this actually works.
Sam, in the last year, in fact, a tremendous advancement has been made in soils. Bionic Soil Solutions is a company that has been working on this for about 20 years, and its inventor has actually come up with a new formula that lithifies the soil. In other words, it is not a regular soil stabilization technology that hardens to maybe 30 to 100% what the regular soil density or compaction rate would be. This will take it to 300 and to 1,000% of what it was, approaching concrete, or in fact, in some cases exceeding concrete, depending on the soil type and structure. And so you're able to add the product into the soil, as demonstrated in the slides, with water and spraying it in and then compacting it to achieve densities of anywhere between 200 pounds per square inch on up to in the thousands.
Yeah, but again, the whole thing about this, John, is that you're removing asphalt and concrete, which are hugely expensive, particularly in developing countries. And so if you can avoid that and use the soils that they have, then you know, that's a very good thing. Well, let's, okay, this is the Argonaut water. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, Argonaut Water is actually a company that uses nanotechnology for its filtration. There are no filters in this particular water unit, water purification unit, and this is one for clear water, and then there is another which works for desalination, and it will turn out something on the order of 500 gallons a day with as little as 9 amps of DC power. On the previous slide, we're talking about something on the production rate of something on the order of 17,000 gallons per day to 20,000 gallons per day, and we're talking about a cost of something on the order of $20,000 and no filter changes. So we're talking about all in at that price.
That's just absolutely amazing. Now this is also something I find absolutely amazing too. These clinics in the can are the Hospitals for Hope, which is the parent company. Tell us a little bit about this, and again, how you can go anywhere on the planet, set them down, and then they'll be able to run with solar. Of course, you can add wind and other types of renewable energy sources to it as well.
Yes. Well, Clinic in a Can is a company out of Kansas that produces an exceptional product in that when you walk into these 20 and 40-foot containers, you think you are in a modern first world hospital with all of the equipment provided for you right there that you'd find in a dental clinic, an operating room, an emergency room, a radiology clinic, and the list goes on. It can be tailored to what you want. We, on the other hand, are in the business of producing and providing the polymers that would be used on the ground. So you notice right here in this slide, Sam, you don't have finished ground, and that type of ground right there becomes puddled, becomes dirty, and in fact people track it into the clinics when they visit. But if you go back 2 slides, you'll see a finished surface, and you'll see that a polymer can achieve that and keep the area completely clean. And in fact, we believe that we've got one product that has antibacterial qualities to it, which would be
fantastic.
Exceptional for this case.
Well, we have less than 30 seconds. What do you see for L&Q International over the next 5, 10, and 15 years? Got to be quick.
Okay, Sam. I think what we will be doing is working with corporations in the extractive industries in large part. They not only have a lot to do on their own site, but also with communities.
This is John S. Quackenboss, President, L&Q International. Great Emerald Planet.
Some dreams are universal. Dreams that inspire us. Multiple sclerosis is a devastating disease that changes lives forever. The National MS Society does more for people with MS than any organization in the world. But we can't do it alone. To get involved, visit us online at nationalmssociety.org. or call 1-800-FIGHT-MS. This is why we're here. Because nobody dreams of having multiple sclerosis.
What's wrong with this picture? Half of young Americans can't locate economic powers like Japan and India. 20% can't even find the Pacific Ocean. Without geography, our children aren't ready for the world. Geography is everywhere. It's incredible creatures, rhythm, fashion, flavor. It's economics and politics. It's change. Understanding connections between people and places is critical in the 21st century. That's why we created mywonderfulworld.org. Go there now for your free parent and teacher action kits and give our kids the power of global knowledge. Because kids who understand our world today can succeed in it tomorrow.
we're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. and the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President, Executive Director of EmeraldPlanet, and Director and host for the EmeraldPlanet TV. So thank you for being with us as we are looking around the globe for what they're now calling green communities, actually even building green cities, massive scale enterprises as we add 2 billion more people. And we have a gentleman who is coming to us. This is Robert Bob Salvatelli, who is Jr., who is the Director of Sales for the Sustainable Water LLC. He's coming in by Skype. And then I have Roger Huaman sitting right beside me. He is an international business consultant with Lima, Peru. And he's going to be here and working with us as a backup for Bob. Bob, welcome to the EmeraldPlanet TV.
Good evening, Sam. Thanks for having me. Hello, Roger.
Hi, Bob.
Glad to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about Sustainable Water LLC.
Great. So Sustainable Water, we're a firm located in Glen Allen, Virginia, small part right outside of Richmond. We call ourselves a water developer, and that's a kind of a unique phrase, but we're a unique business. Our job is to create awareness or identify opportunities and then create awareness to bring decentralized wastewater treatment systems or solutions, I should say, to a complex variety of clients from the higher ed space to the industrial and even commercial spaces. So kind of a new term for a fairly old technology, but we're bringing new concepts to it and hopefully innovative solutions.
Well, I tell you, it's really interesting what you're doing because in a sense, you're creating new water, which is, as you know, it's impossible to do that, but you're taking wastewater, processing it, and then repurposing that. Tell us about this repurposing of wastewater and what are the implications, Bob, of that?
Yeah, it's no secret that our marketing line is we extend the life cycle of water, right? And that's the basic premise for our business. We see that water traditionally is used one time in a linear fashion and then treated and discharged either to a lake or a river or an ocean. We feel that if we could shrink that model down to the local source and bring the decentralized treatment to the actual facility or campus or whatever the opportunity might be, we can not only reduce the amount of energy it takes for water to start and go through the process of treating water, but we can reuse it again and again in a localized fashion.
Well, this is a picture, and Roger's going to ask the question about that in just a minute, Bob, but this is at, I believe, at Emory University. And this is called a water hub. Now, what is a water hub?
Well, that's our brand name for our product. It's really a solution. Hub, thinking of spoken wheel, and the way we looked at it when we come up with the name for this, it was the central place for water to exist and then be redistributed. So our concept here, as you see these pictures flash before you, is to extract water. We call it sewer mining. Extract water from the top of a sewer pipe and bring it through a system in less than 24 hours, turn it into a grade of water that can be used in a non-potable fashion. So thereby displacing drinking water with something that can be used in a utility application. Again, the basic premise or the hypothesis we started the business with was, why put drinking water in a cooling tower or flush toilets with it or irrigate with it? We can use that water for domestic purposes and extend the life cycle of traditional water that's being used one time and wasted.
We're using literally hundreds of billions of gallons of water almost on a day-to-day basis, and it is potable water. Why are we doing that, Bob? What is the history of that?
Yeah, this is one of those things we're trying to understand the human nature, and change is a difficult thing. So the concept of taking something that is a waste and which is really a resource, and convincing people that it's truly valued. There's some statistics out there. There's more water used in a day than oil, right? And across the globe. And this is a problem because we're not making more, and if we're not smart and we have global change, as we see in situations like on the West Coast in California where they're running in a long drought, these things are going to become more sensitive. So the understanding how to use water more efficiently, understanding how to use it more purposefully is kind of the goal of our mission.
Well, you know, we have Roger here, and he's your backup, but he's going to ask the next question. Roger?
Yes, Bob. Question. What are the drivers for Emory University in Atlanta, and what are its implications for drought areas of the United States and in many countries overseas?
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting question. So, you know, when Emory started off their project, they're in an area not unlike most places. They're coming off or in the middle of a drought, so they were kind of concerned about water, access to water. They're in the middle of what we affectionately call the tri-state water wars between Florida and Alabama to understand who owns rights to what bodies of water that supply their everyday water. And when you looked at it, the cost of water was rising. Their ability to get it was challenged. They wanted to find a way to bring this water hub solution to their campus to secure those water availability issues and eliminate risk for critical cooling and heating functions for a very prestigious college in the country. You couple that with their ability to partner with the educational side. So we have a utilities marriage with the educational side of the campus and their global safe water initiatives that are going on there. Studying this ability to harness this waste resource and turning it into something was also a very large driver. So I think at the end of the day, it was risk mitigation for their operations, it was water availability, and lastly, insulation against rising rates due to infrastructure and other non-related factors outside of their control.
Bob, looking at this system we have right in front of us now on the image on the screen, how much potable water is being displaced by this repurposed water that you're actually putting through this system? And what are the cost savings to the university, or you could extrapolate that to a municipal government?
Sure. So this system, so order of scale and magnitude, Emory University uses about 325 million gallons of water a year. We're able to safely displace about somewhere between 105 and 120 million gallons a year based on the design of this system. It's a 400,000 gallon a day processing system. And as I mentioned, somewhere between 18 and 24 hours, we can take a waste stream and turn it into something that can be used in the utility. So that's a fairly aggressive system. 35% of the campus's overall water is going to be reclaimed when we're at full capacity here. So we're looking at a substantial 1/3 of their water is going to be recycled. When you look at the cost implication of that, the way we execute these projects is we bring the capital to the project and provide the client savings on both their water and sewer costs. So literally, this client specifically will be saving millions of dollars over the next 20 years based on the contractual agreements of this developed project.
Now, looking at what you're doing, Bob, what type of renewable energy is being used in this, and how does that actually affect the financial impact of a project like this, and also to protect the environment by reducing CO2 emissions?
Yes, so that's the fun part about using adaptive ecology. It has a very low energy footprint. One of the pictures I believe I put in the slides to the right or adjacent is a solar panel that we're using to augment some of the electrical concerns. So it was well thought out. The energy, we're in Atlanta, so it's not the Northeast, for example, but the energy to heat and cool, or specifically to heat in the cooler months of the year, is generated from the plants themselves. So there's a lending itself to a reduction of energy there. And again, the cost of our overall treatment system is very inexpensive compared to traditional wastewater treatment technologies. So the combined functionality of how we move the water and keep it local, as I mentioned, this water is not traveling 13 miles and then back from its treatment facility. So there's a saved energy component there. So the combination of all of those things reduces the general impact and the carbon footprint of this project.
Now, how big a footprint is this as far as the physical facilities themselves? And then what is required as far as the financing for such a project?
Yeah, this was interesting. So 400,000 gallons, we could probably do it and somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet, but the campus chose to give us 2 lots. So this is about 7,500 square feet of surface area. It goes down about 15 to 18 feet in that greenhouse that you see there. And on the lower site, we extracted about 52 feet and work its way through in around a storage tank that's built in, 50,000 gallons storage tank. So the general footprint that you see is very small. The way the project was delivered was a term, again, we kind of coined, was a water purchase agreement. And that's nothing different than a delivery vehicle or a financial vehicle that allows and the investment arm of our business to execute a project based on a developer, investment model. We found part of our business is also we're a consultative business. We found far too many times we did water balance or footprint analysis or feasibility studies, understanding that the projects never got done. So we tried to eliminate the cost or the expense of a project from the ultimate decision making, and let the projects lend themselves to their natural system. So it's one of those, if you take money out of the equation, what's it going to take to get a project done? And that works very well in the higher education space. It actually works well in the industrial space and the developmental space.
Well, Roger was going to ask the next question, but we're absolutely running out of time, and we're going to lose you in about 40 seconds here. Looking at what you're doing, taking this domestic wastewater and extrapolating that, what do you see for the growth of sustainable water over the next 5, 10, and 15 years, Bob?
Yeah, as we see more research being done in our facilities, I think that's going to assist us. But ultimately, we want to find a way to shrink this and deliver this to places all over the world, all over the country and all over the world in a very economical fashion.
Well, I'll tell you, that's absolutely fantastic. And it's really a wonderful message that you're coming out. I don't know if we have time to put this one last photograph up there, but this is a very high technology facility, but also at the same time, Bob, it looks like it's quite simple as far as the way that it works. So thank you for being with us. This is Robert Bob Salvatelli, who is the Director of Sales, Sustainable Water LLC, and right beside me is Roger Huaman, who is the International Business Development Specialist and Consultant from Lima, Peru. We'd like to thank you for being with us.